Up next is Corey's going to be talking to us about
we're doing that one next. Yeah, sure.
which one?
The truck.
Yeah, the truck.
Amazing.
You get the truck. So this one's coming to you from New Atlas. Here you go, Corey. It's all yours.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, the next article is initially found on New Atlas, and then I have also the main company's website listed below. We'll take a look at that too. And the title is Range Extended Electric 4-Wheel Drive Expedition Type Vehicle Claims a range of 4,350 miles. Pretty cool. That one got my interest peaked, and I was like, okay, hey, let's check this thing out. So basically, the long and short of it is it's from a UK startup called Fering Technologies Limited. And the basic background story here is there's a automotive engineer that did some work on the McLaren F1 back in '95, back in the '90s. And he's done a few things, but he also decided at one point that he wanted to do a vehicle that could go extreme ranges. And part of that was that he wanted to be able to drive from pole to pole around the Earth, pole to pole, in a vehicle. You know, charging and however that would go. But there were some places that he saw that he mapped it out. They were too far away from any services to make it really feasible. So he said, okay, I gotta make this extreme range. And that's kind of what happened here. He developed this kind of vehicle that would basically stretch the about 4,000 mile distance from a part of Canada over Russia, and that was what they were looking at. And so that's kind of where the idea of this vehicle started, and it's called the Fering Pioneer is what this thing's called. And you can see it's very utilitarian. That's its purpose. It's able to go for a bit of time on just electrics, but then it's got a hybrid power plant to supplement, a hybrid generator, really. And that's kind of like the whole idea, is actually that it's stable operating extreme temperatures and go about 50 miles or so on just pure battery power. But then with this supplemental generator, whether it's hydrogen or biodiesel or what, because you can fit it with different things, that you can get this range up to 4,000 plus miles. It's got some impressive figures as far as like off-road vehicles. I know off-road. Let me pull it up here and I'll talk about it. But anybody who's looking for off-road kind of stuff would probably be interested in, you know, gradients. How high can it climb? What steepness? That's about a 60% grade. That's what they claim. About 50 degrees of traverse. So the lateral, right, driving side.
That's crazy.
1.4 meters of depth of wading, like standing water. 1.4 meters. That's pretty crazy. Pretty cool.
Does that mean it can ingress the cockpit, except it'll be, because the little picture here shows it just below the windows.
I would imagine. I would imagine that it's I don't know that for a fact, but I would imagine that the doors are not watertight. Could be. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. I haven't found that in here yet. Just some quick figures. It's all going to be in a different system, not standard, but it'll be in metric for you. So 7,000 kilometers of self-sufficient range they claim. 600 newton meters torque on the electric motors, four-wheel motors. 1,500 kilograms of payload capacity. And I already said the 80 kilometers, 50 miles or so, silent running, so pure electric. And then a 70 kilowatt multi-fuel generator is what they're. So, and again, you can have different ones on board.
Gotcha.
It's pretty cool. I haven't seen a price anywhere.
No.
They do have some interesting comparisons on their main website. If you're on their main website, I don't know if you're there, Mike, but if you go there and you go to the bottom of the Your Vehicle page. Yeah, exactly that right there.
I got it.
It just has some quick comparison, which of course we understand that it's just you can't compare exactly, but it says the mass of this vehicle is 1,500 kilograms, which is pretty cool. Again, we said it's really lightweight. That's kind of the one part of weight they want to minimum weight that you're carrying around. And then the weighting depth, as we already talked about, 1,400 millimeters or 1.4 meters, and then the range is just crazy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
Not what I would expect.
It's again very utilitarian, right?
Yes.
Because it even talks about some of the skin, like the actual outside of the vehicle, will be like that material that is on like hiking boots. If you guys know that really robust material, that's semi or mostly waterproof, and actually can hold some heat in as well. They talk about putting that on as actually the skin of the vehicle. So it's it's not meant for most people, honestly.
No.
But it's very intriguing, so I thought I would share it with you guys.
Yeah, I'm intrigued because the design for me, right? It looks like maybe Cybertruck and a Hummer kind of went off in the backwoods and came back and had an offspring, because it's not a bad looking design. It's got those really boxy, edgy, square, that look and feel to it. It looks ultra rugged in that Hummer kind of way. Obviously, you can see by the way that these tires, the front tire access point it's probably got a high angle of incident where it can actually climb stuff, like it says on the website.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot hanging, a whole lot of body hanging off the front of the wheels. So
no,
you're
not
going
at
to
all.
get hung up too much on that too.
So it looks like their claims would probably be legitimate. Now, the fact that they're saying that this thing is going to burn in 1 gallon, it's going to get 50 miles per gallon with the hybrid electric diesel, right? The biodiesel fuels that they have. Great. Do I see this being the average everyday person's ability to go get groceries in it?
Of course not.
Not at all.
It's not what it's for.
It's not what it's for, but do I see people buying it for exactly that purpose and using it as a status symbol?
Yeah, I had that thought. Exactly. Saying that, I was like, oh man, I can see the downturn.
Yep.
Being like, oh, I know what that is, and being like,
but why?
It's clean. Like, what? Why?
Why is it here? Because the purpose of it is, if you're just going to avoid gas stations, it's kind of a waste. But a 60 gradient climb.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So I just see this as ending up being really an ultimate status symbol vehicle, where someone that turns around and basically is a wannabe, they get this and they go, this thing is so cool, you got to see what it does. And then basically it never sees a day of off-roading, besides maybe some light pedaling up into a campsite one day, maybe.
So I did request some information from the company, and if we hear anything that's worth sharing back, we'll pass it on.
That'd be cool.
As just pure curiosity. So yeah.
Yeah, so I guess one of the other things that they do go into here on the website, though, is they also say that it's a modular construction. So between what they have here and their approach is that they're going to make this thing, I guess, highly adaptable in other situations, which will be kind of cool. So they're manufacturing partners in country, and they're looking for fleet vehicle operators, which, I mean, if the price came in at a fleet vehicle price that would be more acceptable, then maybe these guys have a really good shot. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, who would use it in a fleet vehicle?
I mean,
delivery?
Anybody that's in maybe off-woods areas.
Maybe.
Forestry Service.
There you go.
U.S. Government Forestry Service. They got all those vehicles that need to go wherever, and you wouldn't have to worry about range for a significant amount of time.
Right.
Boom, give them this thing. I mean, it works in extreme temperatures. The batteries and the motors are all meant for that. The motors, or excuse me, the batteries are a different chemical composition than a lot of like a Tesla would have.
Right.
They do better in colder temperatures, but they don't have as much storage capacity. So it's one thing, maybe just for your information. So, but I can see somebody out there wanting a fleet vehicle for very, very utilitarian off-road, minimal. They don't want to carry the infrastructure around to keep it.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure somebody, but yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Hey, if you got a chance, like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And we'll do more to look into what these guys actually get themselves up to, and what services or what, actual fleet vehicles they might be supplying services to, and things of that nature. So it's an interesting concept. Corey sent it to me and I was like, seems too good to be true. But then you kind of read how they broke that thing down to make it to that range. I guess it could be legitimate.
When I read this, honestly, I had a brief flashback of when I had the thought of making something similar to this. Not that I'm an engineer that could make this, but I had the thought that
No, I know.
Truck. But it was like, I was thinking, okay, couldn't you get a small turbine that would run on anything, really? You can run on diesel, obviously Jet A, whatever. And that would be a generator, and it would do the same thing effectively this thing.
Right.
That was just an idea, but obviously I didn't. Maybe I should have.
Okay, well,
I certainly wouldn't be the first person to say a hybrid with just the power plant. There you go. Moving along.
It's actually cool. It's actually pretty cool.
Some new.
Interesting concept. Okay.